Hello EFD squad and welcome back to the Euro Roundup where you pick our winners and losers from the weekend just past you dirty, dirty dogs. Talking of dogs, I'm joined again by Patrick Van Straten, a very well-groomed dog. New trim, beard, shaped up.
Yep.
How was your weekend? I take it you had the plumbers in. Did you try it on with one of them in order to get a bit of money off?
No, he was taking long enough as it was, so I was not going to go up and proposition him on this occasion.
Didn't check out...
Carpenter coming next weekend though, so we'll see if he nails me.
Didn't check out the plumber's U-bend though?
No, I don't want to know where it is or the state of it.
What about the pizza delivery guy? Fan of big sausage pizzas? Anyway, moving on. This is getting ridiculous.
No.
You can tell that I've just filmed a show and...
It didn't go well. It did not go well.
Juventus are our first winners and it comes from Kian Maxwell Iman. Why is that?
They made it 7 wins from 7, and they did it in style. They beat Napoli, who of course are in second place, 3-1. They're now 6 points clear at the top of Serie A. It could have been very different though. Napoli took a lead early on. Dries Mertens got his second of the campaign after just 10 minutes. Assist from Callejon, who's also started really hot this season. But Mario Mandzukic, who's been excellent recently, scored twice to turn it around, and Bonucci, as Zach Geller predicted last week, made the point safe on 76 minutes, plus Mario Rui was sent off for Napoli.
Hold on, Zach predicted that Bonucci would score against
He
Napoli.
predicted that Bonucci... He also predicted Ronaldo would get the other one and Juventus would win 2-0, so he was incorrect.
Come see, come sir.
But it's not too bad from him. And actually, in this game, Ronaldo was very, very good. He got the assists for goals 1 and 3, and the second goal came... He had a shot that came back off the post, landed to Mandzukic, and Mandzukic slotted it in. So.
I heard Ospina actually played very well in this game.
I'm sure he did. I'm sure he was great.
David,
you know what happens?
Ospina.
Nothing will make a goalkeeper quality like leaving Arsenal.
Yeah.
Like this was Szczesny versus Ospina in this game.
See Fabianski's save
isn't that
as well.
mental? Oh, so good.
From that header.
It's so good, yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, CR7, absolutely fantastic performance. He led the game in shots with 8, shots on target with 5, key passes with 3, and dribbles with 2. That is a hell of an individual performance. He now has 3 goals, 4 assists in 7 appearances. But amazingly enough, he's actually underperforming his expected goals, which puts his predicted output at 6, and that's 0.91 goals per 90 minutes. Though admittedly, that's kind of what happens when you just bang in shots from everywhere. You're kind of going to rack up expected goals without actually really increasing your likelihood of scoring.
8 shots. This wasn't Frosinone either, was it?
No, this is against Napoli, and obviously it's a different prospect from last season, but a very impressive performance. Juve have now won all 8 games they've played so far this season, all competitions. That's only the second time they've done that in their history, the first time since 1930, 1931, and probably happier because no Mussolini. So,
yeah,
you know, bonus.
Bonus. On the subject of dictatorships, Juve absolutely smashing Serie A this season. 16 goals in 7 games, top goal scorers of the Serie A. And if that holds, it will be the first time they've managed this since 2014-15. Things, like I said, looking pretty rosy for the Bianconeri, currently taking 21 shots per game. That's first in Serie A, second in Europe to Manchester City, and they're getting 7.4 on target per 92. Joint first in Serie A with Roma, who are underperforming slightly, and third in Europe behind City and Barcelona, conceding just 9 a game as well. That's first in Serie A, and a shot and a half behind Manchester City. So, despite only winning the odd tie here and there by a goal, they're actually underperforming somewhat. Now, the result isn't too terrible for Napoli. They remain second, 2 points above Inter, 3 points above Lazio, and 4 above Roma, who now put back-to-back victories together, right? Mm-hmm. So you say that Di Francesco's men finally getting some momentum going there. The attack is still humming. Only 3 teams have scored more, and Mertens has now been involved in 3 goals in 300 minutes, while Insigne has 5 goals and 1 assist in 7 appearanrances.
Outrageous.
Now, he finished the season last season with 8, I believe, from 177 shots. So maybe, just maybe, capable of exceeding that, and he's made a very good start, hasn't he? Defensively, very different, with only 4 teams conceding more than the Little Donkeys' 10. So they need to tighten up at the back, don't they? I imagine the goalkeeper issue has played a part, but we'll see from here on in. Next up for the Barton the Bay, they have 2 tough games, Liverpool in the Champions League, and then Sassuolo, who actually ran, oh God, no, they didn't run AC Milan very close. AC Milan actually got very lucky. It was 4-1 in this game week just past, but AC scored a couple of absolute bangers. Next up for the partner pay is Liverpool in the Champions League and Sassuolo in the league, who Have been no pushovers this season despite losing 4-1 to AC. They scored a couple of bangers in that game, AC. Suso's was an absolute lord of the pings. But they're currently their closest rivals in the league, I believe. So, weird. Anyway, how do you think Napoli are going to finish this season? Let us know in the comments below. Moving on to your first losers.
Our first losers of the week are Bayern Munich. This comes from Bailey Elvin. I actually didn't see this. What happened?
They fell to their first defeat of the season, Pato, to the Bundesliga's surprise package thus far, which is Hertha Berlin. I've actually been to a Hertha Berlin game before. They beat Gladbach 2-0. Solomon Kalou scored, and the atmosphere was absolutely banging in the Olympic Stadion. And train ticket, €6. Beer and a hot dog, €5 or €6. Whole 20 euros for the ticket. Whole experience for under 30 quid. Well done, Germany. Anyway, as you'd expect, Bayern did dominate the game. They had 25 shots to Hertha's 6, 14 corners to Hertha's 1, and 70% possession.
Yikes.
Now, the opener came halfway through the first half when Jerome Boateng fouled the man I just mentioned, Solomon Kalou, who's now 33, by the way, and Vedad Ibsevic converted the penalty. Now, just before half-time, Hertha actually doubled their lead through Ondrej Duda. He turned home Valentino Lazaro's cutback after a nice passing move up that right-hand side. Now, every outfield player who set foot on the pitch had a shot for Bayern in these 90 minutes. So it wasn't for lack of trying, finding a way back into this game. But of those 25 shots, only 5 tested Michael Kraft in goal. And this caps off a poor week for Bayern Munich. And we're not used to saying that on this show, are we? They drew 1-1 with Augsburg last Tuesday and are now off top of the table, which is unusual territory for them. But it finally makes the Bundesliga remotely interesting again.
We will see about that. But
okay.
Hertha are currently in third. They're level on points with Bayern. So it's actually been quite a shocking start to the season for them. I mean, they have the same nickname as Juventus. They're called Die Alte Dame, so the old lady. But they don't really have the same sort of consistent success. They finished 10th last year. They won just 10 games all season. They've already won 4 this year. So chances are they're going to do better. And man of the match for us was Austrian international Valentino Lazaro. He's actually played as an attacking midfielder in the past, but now he plays as a right back. Kind of Zinchenko vibes for him. He got an assist in this game, had 5 interceptions, which was 3 more than anyone else on the pitch, more than Bayern's entire squad put together. Though that is sort of what happens when you have 70% of the ball. It's hard to make interceptions for passes played by people on your team. Also shout out to Duda, who Chris mentioned just now, 23-year-old attacking midfielder. He plays for Slovakia. He's got 23 caps, and he's actually the Bundesliga's top scorer this season. He's got 5 goals in 6. However, this boy is running hotter than the sun. He's 5 goals have come from 8 attempts. He's taking 1.3 shots per 90. No other player who has scored 3 or more has a lower shots per 90 average. So everything he hits at the moment is going in. But it's already his highest scoring league season. And frankly, getting those points under their belt early on probably means that Hertha can coast for much of the rest of the season. They go on to 9th place Mainz, whereas Bayern welcome Mönchengladbach to the Allianz Arena next Saturday. So we expect normal business to be resumed, but what a fantastic day for the Hertha fans.
Staying in the Bundesliga, our next victors, and final victors in fact, are Schalke. This comes from @GoonerJHH. Why?
Schalke beat Mainz 1-0. That's their first win of the season. It's also their first points of the season. They had nothing so far, and so Schupf's goal in this game came just in time. After 11 minutes, Konoplyanka beat his man, whipped in a nice cross for him to head home. And Konoplyanka actually was really good in this game. He could have scored himself. He hit the woodwork twice. He had more attempts on goal than anyone else for Schalke with 4. But to be honest, this was a very Tedesco-y game because Mainz had 57% of the possession. They had more shots on target than Schalke. They had 5. But on XG, they just got crushed. They had 0.64 XG while Schalke had 1.6. So they just got hammered in this game. And it's kind of what Tedesco does, creates really, really defensive setups that just bore you to tears, but mean that nobody can really create chances. It's amazing they've lost so much this season. Anyway, Mainz is not a team that's particularly difficult to shut out. They failed to score in their past 3 games. They've had less than 1 XG in 4 of their 6 Bundesliga games so far.
Anyway, less of that. Back onto Tedesco's side, because as unlucky as they've been at the back, which expected goals against shows, they've been terrible at the other end of the pitch. They've only scored in 3 of their last 6 games in all competitions. They've also not kept a clean sheet, which is a deadly combination, isn't it? But it's not for lack of trying. They're having 13.3 attempts per game in the Bundesliga this season, which is actually more than current league leaders Borussia Dortmund. However, they are low quality chances.
Yeah.
They're only registering 3.5 on target per 90, which is the 3rd worst in the league.
It's not great.
Nah.
It's not tip-top.
So the less said about that, the better, really.
Point though, eh?
And yeah, the fans will be disappointed, won't they, after their unlikely second place to finish last season. But
Tallest dwarf contest they won last season.
a sigh of relief, Pato, because they were competing with Frosinone for the worst in-form side. Does that make sense? Possibly not. The worst form side in Europe, with both sides yet to register points prior to this game week. Now, Frosinone scored their first goal.
Hey.
You know, so it's all about the little wins. But
Lost to Genoa.
Lost to Genoa ultimately. And we're going to talk about Piatek in a bit, who's our star of the week. So yeah, not the worst side in Europe's top 5.
Great.
And that qualifies you for a winner on our show. So anyway, next up they face Fortuna Düsseldorf, who they can leapfrog with a win to get out of relegation places, followed by a tough game against 5th placed Werder Bremen at home. I'm not going to ask the fans what they think of Schalke, because you don't care.
Our second and final losers come from @Gatza Inga. Interesting misspelling there of Spurs' 3rd choice goalkeeper, who I think we all know and respect as a player. What happened to Barca?
He's better than Vorm.
Well, yeah.
Oh yeah. Zach's probably better than
Vorm.
Vorm, to be fair. Anyway, yes,
Dreadful.
Barcelona missed out on the opportunity to top the league by 2 points this weekend after drawing 1-1 at home with Athletic Bilbao, putting even more pressure on Valverde. He's tried to revert to the Barcelona way of playing this season, hasn't he, by going to the 4-3-3 from the 4-4-2, but it's not really worked so far. This team probably more well equipped to set up in a 4-4-2. The Barcelona fans will have to begrudgingly admit that, I think, at some point at the start of this season. And the midfield 3 this game, not great. Roberto, Rakitic and Arturo Vidal. Arturo Vidal has been panned by Barcelona fans at the start of this season, although this is probably one of his better games. Rakitic absolutely hounded on my timeline. Mr. Consistent as well. Missed a bit of a gilt-edged opportunity in the first half. But anyway, talking of missing, Barcelona are missing Samuel Umtiti big time, aren't they? Who suffered a knee injury not long ago. Is currently being evaluated. I'm not sure how long he's going to be out for.
Yeah.
Although they think it might not be as bad as first feared.
Okay.
ACL territory was the information we were given at first. But their win percentage with and without him, stark contrast. With him, 82%. Only 2 defeats out of 56 league games when he's played, compared to 54% without him. Now, why do you think that is? Apart from him being an elite level centre-back. Is it because Gerard Piqué is deteriorating, or Lenglet not bedding in as well?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's since he joined the club, so that's over quite a long period of time. But I think, I don't know, Barcelona have had some weird transitions in the last couple of seasons. Obviously, they've changed manager, and who knows, maybe he was being rested for certain games and they kind of underestimated opponents. But I think Umtiti's comfortably their best defender, and he's one of the best centre-backs in the world. He's definitely better than Piqué is now.
For sure.
So
he's had to partner some pretty rogue players, hasn't he? Vermaelen, Yerry Mina.
Did he play at the same time as Mathieu, though they both play on the left? I don't know. God, it's rancid.
He's killing it
Barcelona
now.
carry some
Yeah, I know. Oh, proper sort of money laundering signings. But anyway, statistically, Barcelona dominated this game, having 71% possession, taking 20 shots to Bilbao's 8, putting 8 on target to Bilbao's 2. So the away team pushed their luck. But 29-year-old fullback Marcus put Bilbao ahead. Now, he had a great game in the end, scoring and making 7 tackles and interceptions, including 2 last-man tackles. One, I think it was on Coutinho, was absolutely filth. Now, Bilbao keeper Unai Simon also deserves a shout-out. The 21-year-old made 7 saves on the day, keeping his team firmly in the game. I've got to say, a lot of Barcelona's chances, not high-quality chances, sort of Luis Suarez testing him from distance with a free kick, taking shots from preposterous angles wide right, and they were pretty stunted until the wee man came on.
Yeah, I think that they hit the woodwork a couple of times in this game, so they could perhaps claim that if the wind had dropped a little bit, then maybe it would have been a better day for them. In fact, they've actually hit the woodwork the most in La Liga so far this season. 8 times, and 6 of those came from Messi. He obviously did that again in this game. He only came on for 30 minutes, got 5 shots, 1 on target, hit the woodwork, grabbed an assist, which was for Munir, who got his first goal for the club since March 2016. He'd only been on the pitch for 4 minutes. Messi started on the bench. It wasn't just because they were not taking Bilbao seriously. It was because he and Busquets were being rested for the Tottenham game, which is on Wednesday this week, which, by the way, we will be covering in a live watch-along here on Football Daily, so make sure you tune in for that. However, you would have hoped that Luis Suarez would step up in Messi's absence, and he really, really didn't. He's failed to score in his past 4 games for Barca. His last goal away from home in the Champions League, little nugget here, came in September 2015.
Wow.
September 2015. That's so long ago. Since then, he's gone 12 games away from home in the Champions League without scoring a goal. That's mental. But you'd have thought that here at home against Bilbao, in a game they were dominating, he might be able to make the breakthrough. Really, really disappointing. Anyway, as we said, Barca face Spurs next on Wednesday, and then they've got Valencia on Sunday. Now, Valencia are struggling, but God, nobody wants to play them. That's going to be a rough one.
They're no Leganes, though, are they?
Ooh, beat them though, didn't they? Satirical. Yeah, that's a good one. Good one from you. Anyway, Barcelona, you're in our losers.
Ha! Time for our star of the week then, and you voted for Krzysztof Piatek of Genoa this week, and this comes from Actually Cal. Actually, why?
Well, I kind of wanted to write about Piatek, and then he got a brace against Frosinone to take Genoa up to 7th. They're 3 points off second place Napoli with a game in hand.
Mate,
and what a season he's having.
I tweeted about him as well, so we're like,
I don't
simpatico.
read your Twitter feed, mate.
You're a liar.
I stopped following Joe. Actually, I don't know if that's true. I might have refollowed him, but only as a sympathy follow. Anyway, Genoa bought Piatek from Cracovia this summer for 4.5 million euros. He's Polish. He's 23 years old. Last year in the Ekstraklasa, that's what it's called. He got 21 in 36. And he's actually now the first player in Genoa's history to score in all of the first 5 Serie A games of the season. In the process, he's helped them make history. They won 4 of the first 6 Serie A matches for the first time since 1932-33. So he has been quite productive so far with 8 goals in 6 appearances in Serie A. Wow. He's the top scorer in Europe's top 5 leagues. Mental.
Boy! I love that Genoa, because they only scored 33 goals last campaign, which was the joint 3rd worst in Serie A, just went out and bought 5 strikers. They bought in Lapadula,
quality move.
They bought in Kouame, they bought in Piatek, and 2 other people whose names I've forgotten.
2 guys who won't play.
Yeah, just
Piatek.
2 Italian regens. Now, with 12 in 7 in all competitions this year, Piatek is the first player across the European top 5 leagues to score at least 10 goals in all competitions in 18-19. Pretty amazing when you consider the competitions, some of the starts that have been made by players like Insigne, by players like Eden Hazard. Now, let's go over his playing style, see if we can shed any light on that for you. Piatek, not really a dribbler, 0.5 dribbles completed per 90, or a creator, 0.3 passes per 90. Got there eventually. Just a pure out-and-out goal scorer. Now, his shot numbers, subsequently, are amazing. 4.7 shots per 90 for a goal-shy Genoa side.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
It's filthy.
They're sort of Harry Kane numbers from last season. Now, only Ronaldo, Dzeko and Insigne have had more attempts on goal this season, and only Ronaldo has had more attempts on goal, from inside the penalty area. So these aren't speculative shots from distance. These are high-quality chances from inside the 12-yard box. However, saying that, expected goals suggest that his current form is not going to last forever. He's running hot at the moment, and his total XG for this season is about 3. So he's overperformed massively, but I think he's going to dovetail quite nicely with Kouame based on the fact that I've watched Genoa twice this season, both as like 8-minute highlights packages. But Kouame seems to be a very adept presser. He's very athletic. He's very unselfish. So if they can get those 2 sort of forming a partnership, that fares well for the Genoese. What are their nicknames? They have a really funny nickname, like this something old man.
Don't know.
Oh, can't. Let me know in the comments below anyway. Despite that sort of drop, when you consider expected goals, his his rank in Serie A is still not actually that bad. That puts him at 6th with an expectation of scoring every other game.
Yeah, so even if he's a totally league average finisher, you'd expect him to score every other game as a 23-year-old in a top 5 league in his first season.
Who's just cost $4.5 million from Cracovia.
That's amazing.
Which sounds like that made-up region in Avengers.
Yeah.
Is it a real team? I don't think it is.
Or the stuff that you have if you have a chesty cough.
Cracovia.
Cracovia. You snort it.
Keep,
Let's
your
leave that.
habits to yourself.
All right, mate.
So that was the RU Forum of the week. Thank you for getting your suggestions in. Who do you want to see us cover next week? Get them in the comments below. Pat, what else is happening across FD, EFD, FDFC?
I think I'm coming at your screens quite a lot this week. I think I'm going to be on an EFD top 10. I think I've got to be on Mundial as well for some bullshit reason. Obviously, like I said, we've got a watch along Tottenham versus Barcelona. That'll be on Wednesday evening, so tune in live for that. And, continue to enjoy the great content. If you'd like to see a Euro roundup take on the Premier League, then obviously head over the
Yeah, do that.
This.
I just burped into my nose. Horrible.
I've really hurt my finger, so, if anything, over and above.
Bye. Let's do this.
Okay. Put that in. Our second and final loot. Oh, for sake. Come on.
Put that in.
It's professional.
Oh, God.